Hey guys, this is Brad Dyke. How you doing? Just touching base with you real quick. I'm doing my last video this go around, and this video is talking about when you're building your own internal IT lab, maybe a class B, C, or A. The principal driving forces behind that have a lot to do with your ability to use your consoles and control systems, as well as some other cute little tricks that are valuable too. So this little short blurb is going to talk to some of those things. This will allow you to kind of get a feel for how you want to design things in a certain way. So let me go over this in one step at a time so that it all makes good sense to you, and you can follow through with it pretty easily as you want to look and do your stuff. So as you can see here in the environment here I have up and running, I have a couple of node environments operational down there. They're doing their wonderful things. And of course over here you have activity going on a basically TrueNAS platform. And of course you have some fun up here. I have sometimes things get a little boring. I have TV with Netflix, stuff like that. Now I also have this console here, I have this console here, and I have this console here as well. Plus I have a electronics test bench. Now the value behind these environments is how they're placed. So the first thing I do is, this is the diagnostic station. The diagnostic station, which I just recently did a video on, is my build, test out, config, tear it back down, do it 10 times more, and then I'll be finished. But I have what's called a universal console interface, which is a USB keyboard and mouse with a pitch variable LCD display, which has all the configurables: VGA, HDMI, L4, K4, 4K, 8K, all the interface in the back of it, because you don't know what you're going to be testing. And I have converters here for the console that can allow me to do specialized work, maybe with very small form factor footprints that require a very specialized hookup, or a step down or a step up. That's what this console is for. Invest in the monitor, because that makes a big difference in how much hardware you've got to keep around. One monitor that does everything was valuable to me. Here, of course, the mouse and keyboard are basic generics. My power feed out for requirements, maybe monitor and so on. But then over here, I have this Asus AUG platform that I use for strategizing or R&Ding or external testing, or node configuration, diagnostics, walkthroughs, and so on and so on. So the key detail here is that you are going to be able to do your research fairly close to what you're digging. Now, when you've got your magnifying glasses, and if you look over here, I've got like 3 or 4 different versions, you're zooming in and you're going down to these very small details. And it matters, because then you can quickly reach over here, type in your research information, make a model part number, and so on, get them here, and yes, I send them to the printer, which currently has a CB on top of it for my son's car, but normally that's powered up and running. So with that, I then have my TrueNAS environment, which is right over here. This is not a console just for TrueNAS. This is a KVM console. It also is an open universal format too. It also can contain all the different connections required, but I have to route it through a series of interfaces and USB interfaces as well to provide me a common form of console, keyboard, mouse access to what we call the KVM switch, which is right here. And I've got 2 of these, so I can go up to 16 to 32 to 64 to 128 displays if I wanted to, just by adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the back area here you can see the double Molex style cabling, the power output, and then over here is the daisy chain interface that allows you to, right there, go up to the next box, and I've got it up to 3 at one time. And then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I want to go more IP based driven to get it into a good place. Now these cables here, I can do 8 connection interfaces, which I usually use for parent connections. Parent connections mean I may have a control node, like up there I might have a single control node that owns all the Proxmox boxes and the storage and the resources and the Raspberry Pis, and they all communicate and delegate to the controller in its cluster, and that's the only guy I want to connect to. So that allows me to run a single, that's right, one set of cables, one USB cable and one interface cable over and around the wall to the back here to this console. I can go to my display mode up here. The display mode is basically the ability to bring up an outbound inbound diagnostic state using the TV web browser, and that's good because when I turn that service on, I can go to its IP address and it will give me the health status of everything that I have, hence the terminology health and clone state. So like you can see here, I've got my working console here, which I'm working on, got the test running there, I'm running into problems, I go over there and research my needs over on that guy while I'm providing services for the diagnostic station to do its work, running off of these environments, and I can connect any of these platforms to that monitor display in a consolidated footprint to meet what our requirements at which we need to do. And with that being the last thing in discussion is that the flexibility of doing this also means that I have other interfaces that are here that are not consoles that are recommended to have. One of them is oscilloscopes. I have one here and I have another one over here down in the back section down there, and they basically provide me a different kind of display console on the digital analog environments, which I work and coincide for testing right here in this environment of my electronics, which I do periodically work with. With that being said, the next thing that is crucial is the ability to swap out cables. So you notice I got a trunk of cables here and it's kind of messy, but this is core cabling right here, and that core cabling gives me everything in a simple drop down to connect up to here, and I can switch out really easy if necessary, and I can pair over if necessary. I can move my interfaces for the Raspberry Pis up to the main display up here very easily by just simply swapping out two set cables. And you want to be able to set and replace your cable management so you've got everything from network connectivity all the way down to your power, USB, video outputs, and so on, and get you in a better place in that regard. So there is one last little headache, unfortunately, you have to realize when you're working with all of this, and that is you have to keep all this stuff up to date. It is somewhat of a pain, but as you notice in my console displays, and of course every single server here, all have requirements to be maintained and operated, and you have to do it. I mean, down there is the beast, the quad. It's a huge powerhouse. I love it to death, and I can't use it a great deal yet because I'd have to have pretty much everything else in this rack shut down except for its storage capacity, which is that 2426 right above the Dell chassis you see down there. But it's again a balancing process. There are a lot of powerful machines here that do a lot of testing and platforming for what I want it to do, but I need to have access and console and config in the clear as I need to do it, and do it in an effective way. So with that being said, this short little video is just something that was asked of me to do and just kind of get some background history in regards to doing your testing, streamlining it so you can do more focus on testing and less than building, unless you really do enjoy building. And I do too. I do like it to do it to some degree. A matter of fact, just to prove my point, you'll love these little tidbits. You see this chassis right here? I built this right here. I built it out of an Amdahl. If you have any knowledge about mainframes, you would know that this is a console interface for an Amdahl mainframe. And I pirated the components of it so that I could use the chassis for storage capacity and to be a console front end. Not only that, I constructed this electronic bench. I built it all from scratch in a special way so that I could do static discharging on the fly without having to use grounding strips. If you look at the walls, you'll see that they're silver, and that is an RF shield. That allows me to have a Class B environment for my stuff, and I don't get any RF externally from this room. So yes, Wi-Fi can be a challenge unless you've got your own Wi-Fi module inside the room. So with that being the case, then you look at this bench. This used to be my main garage bench for years, and I reformatted it so that I could use it as my de facto master config bench, and it worked out really well. I've had this for 25 years, 30 years, older than my son's. This bench is older than my son's, but works like a champ, very strong. I also did build outs for the wall configurations as well as the shelving, and it's all compartmentalized so that I can maximize the effect of how I want to bring all the console environments together, all the benches together, all the connectivity and interfacing connect together, how all the power sourcing would be together, and so on and so on. So with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and bring this video down to an end now. Hope this is really good stuff that you can enjoy. It's valuable. It gives you the vantage of some ideas you might have if you want to kind of build out that 1-2-3 punch. This is not a console environment. It isn't. It's a working environment. Console environments are walls full of TV screens and a lot of activity, but very little interface. This is all interface and just the necessary screens that we have, minus the big screen TV. But this is Brad Dykes signing off. I'm going to let you guys go. Take care, and please be safe. Bye-bye.